Hey Flosstube, it's Trisha, the left-handed stitcher. It's been about 2 months since I did my welcome back to Flosstube whip parade, so it is time for me to do an update. I did a few videos since then, but you know, this is the first update, so I'm going to show you everything that I've put stitches in since the whip parade, and then if I show any of my mania starts, it's because they've had stitches in them since their start date. So if I've never said I've never said it before because I didn't understand why people said it, but this is a channel about cross stitch, mainly cross stitch. Occasionally other crafts will find their way in because I am a multi-craftual person, and occasionally you'll get some life stuff, but mostly it's cross stitch. Alright, so since I have a lot I have a lot to show you, I'm just gonna get into it. So let's start with finishes. I don't have any FFOs, but I do have finishes. So in the past 2 months, I have five finishes. Yay! So let's just get to it. Alright, so the first one happens to be one of my whips. So I am 1 project down, 3 to go for that. Get the board. Yep. There he is. Paladin is done. Done. So, yep. He was such a fun stitch. He is stitched on, I believe. I think I kept the little tag in here. Maybe. So I'm gonna have to de-project bag this project anyway. So let me pull everything out and make sure. Okay, so I'm sure I told you what it was stitched on during the whip parade. I think it's, I know it's a picture of this plus, I think it's Mesa, but I can't be certain without digging through notes and stuff. Anyways, but it was stitched with the called for Vicki Clayton's hand-dyed fibers. There we go. Excuse me. Color is Lark's Tongue, and I've got a decent amount left on this spool. I don't know how big this spool is, so who knows. Since this is my first spool of the stuff I've used, I don't know, because you ever get those spools of ribbon and you think, oh, this isn't going to have a lot of ribbon on it, but the actual spool is this big, so there's only that much ribbon on it. Yeah. But I think there's quite a bit left on here. So, alright, let's just throw everything back in here for now. I have to do my de-kitting of this project. So, anyways, fabric was 18 count Ada, and he is so beautiful. So this is one of a 4 pattern series. I have Samurai, but I need to work out some floss issues with it. So, okay, finish number 1, yay. Okay, next one. This is a daily cross stitch. dailycrossstitch.com, I think that's what it's called. Brainfart on that one. I have a lot of I check their website not every day but quite often, and I will download any of the daily charts that catch my eye because they come in handy sometimes. So this is Sailboat. It's just a cute little sailboat pattern. Used all DMC floss. And it was fun. It was nice pattern to lend itself to quite a few magical stitches prompts and nice blocks of color. So good pattern to take to appointments and such. So that's one of the reasons why I really like, you know, doing the daily cross stitch. Daily cross stitch patterns is they're good for, you know, when you need some mindless stitching. So finished number 2. Next up, we have a cute, super cute little project. Is Feeling Stabby. So cute. As you can see, I chose to do like a chevron pattern with the fill-in floss, and I think it turned out pretty cute. So we got a frame with this kit at the last Mira retreat, so it will get FFO'd pretty soon. Just when I get, you know, when I start feeling like you know, when I feel like it. I'm a little, today, my brain not working so good, so I might not be the most articulate person today, but I wanted to get this done because it's like a, you know, 2 months, there's so much, and it's 2 months, perfect time frame for me to do this. I might have to try to do shorter, but we'll see. But mania kept me busy. So, alright, so the next finish is a Lizzie Kate pattern from one of her tiny tidings. It is Jingle. He is so cute. I knew I had to stitch him the first time I saw a stitched example of him. He was a lot of fun. Just to remind you, I used DMC on everything except for the blue. So the blue is the called for blue bonnet. See, I can tell you once I grab the floss. Weeks Dye Works blue bonnet. But yeah, I love this one. So cute. Okay, so that was number 4, I believe. One of these days I'll learn to keep count of stuff. Alright, so my last finished was Unstoppable. So another just daily cross stitch pattern, and I think this one's so funny. This color fabric may not have been the best choice for it, but it's still good. In real life, you can see them. You can see all the details. One thing I want to point out is the words. They were really. Hey, actually, I have a picture I can show you. So the cross stitches, when I was done with the cross stitches, I did not like how it looked. So what I did is I started outlining them, and then it wasn't good enough, so I started inlining them. So as you can see, L and E are just the cross stitches. The B is outlined and the A is outlined and inlined. Inlined, I mean I did back stitches between the stitches, and it fills in all those little gaps that you see. And it worked out really good. I liked it. So there he is, unstoppable. Like I said before, this makes me laugh because it reminds me of the Meet the Robinsons where the T-Rex goes, trying to tell the guy, I can't get him in the corner because my arms are too short. So. Alright, so those are my finishes. Let's see. Alright, we will move directly into my whips, because that's one thing that Magical Stitches does, is it gives you, it spreads the stitches around a lot, usually, most of the time. So let me get back to what I had. So my first whip, you'll remember him. This is Loki, is what I've named him. He is a Etsy pattern, and it's not going to let me. It's not going to let me turn him upside down. I'm stitching him from the bottom up, but upside down. Yeah. So grab. He lives in this laptop bag because he's a big one, and let's get some of the threads. Okay, well, threads are everywhere. This is what he looks like right now. So I'm stitching him. This is the top of his head, so I only have that much to do. So he is so close. He is one of my whip. Who knows what hair that is? That could be my hair. That could be dog hair. That could be cat hair. Okay, so yeah, I am excited. He is gonna get some love this month sometime because he is one of my Whip Go projects. So I just have to get one of, sorry for shaking, one of the prompts for Magical Stitches that he fits into. So we're gonna move him back there. Alright, so just for curiosity's sake, I will tell you, Loki got some love from the prompts that he, Magical Stitches prompts that he got stitches from. Yeah, like I said, articulate? No, not tonight. So in April, it was 2 prompts related to farm, because a lot of owls will live in the barns, and the other one is reflects the outside, because owls live in trees a lot. So, and then in May he got some love because of the prompt overlooked an error, because yes, there's been a few times where I get done with a column and there's a stitch that didn't get done, and I'm like, nope, I'm not. I will just use whatever thread I have on and to go up and get that, because it's a very organic pattern, so it didn't really matter. All right. Whew. This is, hopefully I make it through this before I run out of steam. We'll see. All right, so the next one is my Ellen Marstrow Flowers of the Month series pattern. So, as you may remember, I am on the last one, which is December, and it's a poinsettia. So yeah, so this is close to, and this is another what whip, because this is gonna get finished this year. So I am like I've said before, these patterns are beautiful. They're so, the color is so good, so well, and it's all full stitches. There's only some back stitches on a couple of them. So this got some love in April. Something you were coerced to start, and yes, I was enabled to start this because of Sal. I saw someone talk about it on a Flosstube video, and I looked it up and decided to join. So there it is. And also, for May, it got some stitches because of the prompt, a project you've yelled at, because there were some cuss words when I had that problem with the dye lot for the border on this last block. Yeah, lots of cuss words. So, but I am looking forward to finding prompts to fit this one into, because I am set on getting this one done this year. So, okay, that's a normal project bags are going to go this way, and oversized ones are going to go this way. So, alright, and I'm going to try to do this in a somewhat, it's not going to be, it's organized and yet not organized at the same time. Alright, that ain't it. Damn it. Okay, here it is. So here is what that block will look like when it's done. So the next one we have, I'm going to use a Post-it note to try to keep sorry, gotta unsticky it so it's not such of a pain to move around, to keep track on my list where I'm at. Alright, so the next project is Kathy's Violets. The chatelaine freebie that's no longer a freebie. It's like, I think it's like €3 to buy. And this is how far I've gotten. So all of the cross stitches are done, and all of the krennic has been put in. The only thing left is beads. And since I kind of changed up the colors a little bit, I'm debating on what color of bead I want to use. Kind of leaning towards pink, but I have to do some auditions to decide. So, and I think this one is also a what whip, because I really wanted to get this one done this year. So I am very, very close. Alright, so it's gotten, since beginning of April, it got some attention in April for the prompt. I have to read my notes. Something that you have to be disciplined to work on, and I put it, sorry, more pet hair, I think, because it's a very, they tend to be involved, and you have to, I really had to pay attention with my stitches in when I was doing the krennic back stitches, because sometimes they kind of blended in a little bit, and I don't know if you look up the pattern, you might notice I changed the corners just a little bit. Is that focused? Yep. So just a little bit, I changed those corners because what they had for some reason didn't look good to me, and since I was already making some alterations, I just went, okay, let's change those corners. Alright, so that one is, and the next one is Among Black Cats. So this is what it's supposed to look like, and here is where he is now. So he got a little bit of love in April because you were supposed to stitch on something that you would consider as a minion, and I think a cat would be a good minion. So there he is. Alright, so the next one is my antique Celtic sampler. A lot of people call this Here There Be Monsters, but I think it's a very, very cool pattern. And this one is right here. He's also in a laptop bag. So here is how far I've gotten. So I am almost done with the words, and I think once the words are done, I might move the Q-snaps. So let's see. This one has gotten some love in May for a prompt that was your project had to have a queen, a dragon, or fire, and big old dragon right here. And that one's fun. It is fun to stitch on. It's the choice of the called for hand dyes is really good. They all coordinate, and the variegation is just the right amount. So alright, so the next one is one of my mania starts. It's Azure Mermaid, and I have the picture in here. So this is what she's going to look like. Some of the patterns I keep the picture in, and some I don't. I can't explain, articulate why. Some of them do and some of them don't. So this one's being shown because she got some love in June, so just the other day, as something found on a ship, and a lot of ships have a mermaid carved on a carving of a mermaid on its prow. So there she is. She's a nice calming stitch. So there she is. Alright, so the next one is Blissfully Unaware. So here is what the pattern looks like. It says, if you are reading this, then you are blissfully unaware of what is creeping up behind you. Love this pattern. So since I'm still working through some Q-snap issues. I have the Q-snaps, I just don't have enough graham guards to go around. I don't. Fine. You're just going to go over here in the fabric. There we go. So, this is what it looks like now. I've finished the bottom part, all those little grabby hands, zombie hands, and the only thing left is all the wording. And I got a good start on the wording because in May it had 3 separate prompts that it fit. So the first one was stitch on something eerie. Second one was stitch on something that has outer space object, and the big old moon at the top counted for that. And then land or sea, and since there was ground on the bottom, that fit. So yep, it got quite a bit of love last month. Alright, so I figure you guys are, are curious, at least some of you, on seeing how I fit prompts with some of these projects. So that's why I'm doing this part. Okay, so the next one is Candy Corn by OMG. And of course, perfect project bag for it. Candy corns. And this is what he looks like now. So fun. It's a fun little project. And he got love in April because it's something that you would put on a gingerbread house. So yeah, I would put candy corns on a gingerbread house because I love me some candy corn. Okay, now on to page 2. Next one up is one of my big ones. So you're right here. And it is the Compass Rose. So I have this on a 11 by 11 frame. And it's one of my biggest project bags that I have. It's still kind of a tight fit. So let's get that off there. Okay. He may not be going back in there. I might just have to find something else. So he got some stitches. So this is pretty much from just under the Q-snap here across, and the corner should be right about here. So I'm almost across the top on the border. So yeah, and this one got those stitches in April for something that is a struggle for you. And yeah, I struggle with how big this fabric is. It's a monster project. And this project has a crap ton of fractionals. It's going to be fun, but it is a gorgeous pattern, so I am excited. I'm always excited to work on this one whenever it fits a prompt. Okay, what do I want to do with this one? I think we will just set you over here. Okay. So the next one is my Mania Start DMC Rose. So pretty, so pretty, so pretty. So this one Rose. It's in one of the bigger project bags because I got it on an 11 by 11. So this is how much I've gotten done so far. So I had a pretty decent mania start, and then this one has gotten 2 prompts, one in April for something you're stitching on a higher count fabric, and this was, the kit had I think 16 count. I can verify this right now. 16 count Ada, and this is 18 count Ada easy guide. So yep, I love stitching on this one. So, okay, this one's got to go in a certain, because it's kind of a tight fit too, but it's not nearly as tight as Compass Rose. So that fits back in there. I'll stick you there. Okay. So the next one is my DMC Willow, and this is what it'll look like when it's done someday, eventually. This is definitely a long-term project. So, yeah, and I am not going to take it out of the Q-snap for you guys. You'll get to see it along the way, and it's, you know, out of the Q-snap. But right now, because I am partial the way through a section, so yep. So I know I've been working on this branch and this branch, and now I'm working on a branch that goes across this way. And I think I mentioned before, once these lateral, horizontal branches are done, then I can rethink how this is Q-snapped and redo the pattern. The pattern is not the best. My working copy is not the best setup. So I will be able to rethink all that. And once I do that, maybe, just maybe, this might get stitched on a little bit more often. But I'm showing it to you now because it got some love in May for the prompt. Something that I have to bribe myself to stitch. Now, for me, the bribes are usually a prompt, you know. It could be that's what I consider a bribe. The prompt gives me a reason to stitch on this, and a lot of times I might a project that fits the prompt will will precede this, or in my priority scheme it will come up higher. So this one only comes up every once in a while, but I do feel the need every once in a while to just put some stitches in it. So it will get done one day. Excuse me while I re-tote this one, since it's too big to fit in a project bag. Alright. So the next one is pictures in the bag. So this is Elizabeth, Glendon Place. And it was a mania start, but it got some love in latter half of May for something related to a lady. And since it's named Elizabeth, that fit, and also the designer for Glendon Place is a lady. So here we have, that's my progress so far. Not, you know, not much, but, you know, every little bit helps. And this one is, I think I need to grid this one, because there's a lot of gaps, because there's a lot of Krennic in this project. So that's kind of where I was struggling the last time I was stitching, is making sure that I wasn't putting the next group of stitches in the wrong spot. So I probably will be gridding this one. We'll see. I know I will. I just have to. I did so much gridding for Mania. I'm a little burnt out on it. So I just have to wait for that to wear off. Alright, so the next one to show you is my herding cats, is what I'm calling it. So since you saw it at the whip parade, it's gotten, I think 2 or 3 more kitties. So what I've been doing is, I stitch 1 kitty each time we have a monthly stitching extra credit, watch a movie and stitch. Because this is a simple pattern, I can stitch it and kind of pay attention to a movie. So I do 1 kitty each time. And this is just one of those odd projects that I will just keep going. Until I feel like I've gotten enough. It's a big piece of fabric, so this might go on for years. We'll see. But what I do right now is, before I was doing a random number generator, but that just wasn't working all that great. I might have to go back and do that. I don't know. I'll figure out a better way. But I go to my green box with my envelopes in it, and I just reach in and grab a random one, and that's what I do. So all the colors in these kitties are random. You know, that my OCD screams. But that's the way I started, and that's why it's going to continue. So as you can see, this ain't 1 kitty, this is 2 kitties. So this was during Floss Bingo, and somebody called the same color, you know, with only one color in between. And so since I was using this for Floss Bingo, I didn't have a choice. I had to stitch the same color kitty. Yeah. I mean, if it really bugs me when I get along in the project, I could just frog one and restitch it. We'll see. There that is. Let's see. Yep, like I said, anytime I do a watch and stitch, it gets love. It got love in May and June. I didn't do the extra credit in April because I got preoccupied with sewing masks that month. So my free time kind of shrunk because of that. Alright, so the next one is this fun project. Nothing to fear. There's nothing to fear but fear itself and spiders. So this one got love in June, so just a couple days ago, for some purple stitches. So there we have 50 purple stitches starting the wording. So, this is a fun one, and it does, you know, it's one of those odd ones that it lends itself to prompts. So I like it. Alright, so the next one is another one that got love, but this was in April for a favorite color, and since I hadn't started my DMC Rose yet, I did some work on my pink floppy. So you can kind of see it coming together, slowly but surely. It's just a random little project that whenever a prompt, it fits a prompt, it gets some work. And this is getting stitched 1/1. Yeah, you can see the white stitches. Yeah, that's not in the right place. Damn it. Yeah, so I have to frog that. But I will. The next time I stitch on it. Okay, making progress. So the next one is Silvermoon tea. So this is what she will look like. And this is my progress on her. So she's coming along. She fits so many prompts that, you know, it's an awesome project. And since it's full, pretty much full stitching, full coverage, she's got a lot of stitches to her. So she has gotten love in April for 2 prompts. One was something from a book, and since she's a gypsy, I said she could be Esmeralda from the Hunchback of Notre Dame. So that worked. And then a favorite for the color of purple. So I worked on the purple stitches that were in the roses. And then for May, we got 1 prompt, and it was a project where you can describe something that affects 4 senses. I forget exactly what I did, but there was, you know, like smelling the roses and tasting the tea and hearing something that was in the night and seeing that big beautiful moon. So that worked. But yeah, I'm so happy I started her. I had her in my stash for a while and started her for the last mirror retreat. She has come in very handy. Alright, so on to the page 3. We're getting very close, very close. So the next project is one of my older ones. That is plishsplash. So this is how far I've gotten. Nice simple project. It gets love every once in a while. So this time it was in April. The prompt was something that defines me, and since I love water, lakes and streams and rivers and creeks and ponds and rain, and I love mosaics, so this is perfect. And then in June I needed to do some stitches in blue, and this is nothing but blues, so perfect. So, yep. That one wouldn't take me very long to finish, but I don't feel a need to finish it, so I save it for prompts. That one's done. The next one is a fun one. So, wash your hands. Etsy pattern. So this is my progress. So that bar of soap is done, and the shelf that it's sitting on, and started on the lettering at the top. And then, let's see, since it's an Etsy pattern, I have to find it. Picture, if I have one. Well, apparently I don't. maybe I overlooked it because it's small. So let's scroll a little bit slower. Sorry guys for this. I don't normally apologize for stuff, but could have been just a little, oop, there it is, better prepared. So there is what the pattern, that focusing, I think so, is going to look like eventually. But it's an apt project for these times, and I started it because we had before the whole COVID thing, we always had and we still do, we still have to remind my son to wash his hands. So there's that one. And the last whip. The last whip is one of my mania starts. It is the Plum Street Samplers Tired Trio. And it got some love after its original start because it was for the extra credit prompt of spell out the word stitch. But here is my progress so far. A lot of stitches in that. So I'll show you the picture so you can see what I'm talking about. So the items that I picked was stem, because the flowers have stems, tree, because they're all hanging from a tree, insect, because there's a little tiny bee right there, tail, because you can see his little tail, claws, because you can see their claws right there, and head, you know, so head. So this one worked really nice. It's gonna get quite a few stitches in it this month because this is the extra credit. This is also the one I'm using this month for spelling out Maleficent. So lots of stitches. I might actually finish it this month. Who knows? You think that there's less stitches in a project than there really is. One thing that I want to mention, I haven't contacted her yet. I will one of these days. I was having a hard time with the coverage on this dark brown. I mean, obviously at a distance you can't see it, but I'm stitching up close, and it's causing me stress trying to battle for coverage on it. And I measured it, I grabbed a ruler and I measured it. This is 28 count. I went and I found the remnant that has the original tag on it, and it was marked as a 32 count, and it's not. It's a 28 count bit of fabric. So I'm just gonna let the dyer know, and we'll see what she does. I don't expect anything, but I just want to bring it to her attention. That's all. So yes, the last whip that got touched in the last 2 months. Now, I didn't show any of the mania starts that didn't get stitches after their first day, because you saw them during my mania update. And just to let you guys know, after that I did not start any more projects. I got distracted, and work got a little busy. Sorry. When your legs stick to your chair. Okay, so on to the next thing. Let me rearrange this just a little bit. And I gotta dig out a project. I meant to set this one aside while I was doing this, but it slipped my mind. So, what I want to talk to you about right now is fabric colors. And okay, so we're accustomed to over-dyed fabric. They're just not going to look this. Two pieces aren't going to look the same because that's the nature of it. But when I buy fabric from one of the big companies, a solid color fabric, there should be some consistency, right? Okay, so this is on a piece of fabric I got from 123 Stitch, and it was the color of platinum. Well, I ordered more platinum because I wanted to have some on hand since it's such a nice color. So 32 count platinum. I don't know, can you tell? That's not the same color. Not at all. It's a cooler tone, it's a darker tone. Urgh. What I want to do next is, on the off chance that this might have been, okay, because this is Zweigart, on the off chance that this was a Bushelt fabric, so I'm going to get a hold of Bushelt Platinum if it exists. Pretty sure it does. We'll see. I haven't done that research yet. I ordered this from 123 Stitch, and you know, it's a good color to use on other things, but it just, the discrepancy between those two. Grr. Okay, so then my next example is this pattern. So this is the pattern I want to do in memory of my mother, and I have determined I drug out all of my fabric and auditioned them, and this is the one that trying to arrange these flosses. God, give me a moment, because two of them are still on the skein because I ordered 2 extras because I just don't want to run out of the dye lots. So this is the 3 colors of floss that they're Belle Soie that are being used, and this fabric is on the camera. I'm not sure you can see it, but in real life this is perfect. This fabric right here is absolutely perfect for this. It complements all 3 colors very, very well. But what I have is 32 count. What I need is 28 count because it's being stitched 1/1, and I just don't enjoy stitching 1/1 on 32 count. So I decided I would just order a 28 count of this color, which is taupe, straight taupe from Zweigart. So I ordered, don't know if you're going to be able to see, but yep, those are not the same color. Grr. This is warmer color, and this is a nice cool brown. Warm brown, cool brown. Grr. So I'm kind of at a standstill. My next step on this is I ordered taupe. I mean, of all the Rit dyes that I have in my stash, I did not have taupe. So I ordered some. It should be getting here maybe this week, next week, depending. You guys know how shipping is right now. And I bought a piece of, it's either 28 count or 25 count from Hobby Lobby in even weave. So my plan is to attempt to dye it myself. So I'm going to start with just the color taupe, and we'll move from there if I need to add any different hues to it to get it to this nice cool brown, cool tone brown. I might have to add just a touch of gray. We'll see. I will have to experiment until I find the right combination. And then if I can manage to dye my own fabric, then I can start stitching on this. My plan was to start this on Mother's Day, but that didn't happen. So eventually I will get this project started. Who knows? Maybe it'll be Mania of next year. We'll see. Okay, so that's that. My little rant for fabric. Alright, let me move this out of the way. Okay, so now I don't have any haul to show you. I'm out of practice, so I haven't been corralling the stuff that comes in. So what has come in over the past couple of months, you'll see at some other time. Maybe not all at once, maybe as it gets used. So what's next? So I am seriously considering doing Jolly July, because I went through not all my stash, because I'm in the process of inventorying all of my patterns, and I am probably only about halfway done. But of the ones that I have already inventoried, I went through and I looked, and I have oodles and oodles of winter and Christmas patterns. And a lot of them I really, really, really love. So I am contemplating doing Jolly July. We'll see. We'll see as June progresses. If I feel like doing some kitting up, I'll get to that. I'm tagged for jury duty, but because of the COVID-19, they're not doing anything at the moment, so I'm kind of in a holding pattern for when they call me to tell me that they're starting up again. So who knows? Who knows? I might. I'm anticipating towards the end of June. Who knows? We'll see. I have a trip planned for July. It's a driving trip to San Antonio for the San Antonio Area Stitchers Retreat. Since it's a small group, I feel pretty comfortable, and since Stitchers, as a general rule, because we were comfortable just sitting home and working on our crafts, we're in a lower percentage chance of getting COVID as far as I'm concerned. I know I'll get it eventually. You know, it's one of those things. It will happen. Just trying to keep it from happening. Would rather it not happen sooner than later. But yeah, that's my plan. Drive to San Antonio, and I think when I come back from that trip, I don't know if they will let me continue to do jury duty. Whether or not they'll say, well, you need, we don't want you for 2 weeks. We'll see. I don't know how they plan on handling all that. And then, let's see, Jolly July. August will be kind of a month off. We'll see. Then I'm thinking I don't know. I'm thinking September, I'm gonna call it Smalls September. So I might try to do some Smalls starts in September. We'll see. And then of course October, maybe a few. I'll either just stitch on whips for dark October stitching, or I got a few patterns I could start. One of them was one of the ones I wanted to start during Mania, but the fabric has not shown up yet. So that might be something that's gonna happen. So, and of course, magical stitches. Magical stitches. Like I said before, I love the format. I love the prompts. I love the reading. The reading part is awesome. With a caveat, I'll get to that. I would love it if somebody would start up a Magical Stitches-esque group with the prompts like they do and the reading like they do, but instead of family-friendly reading, something more adult, instead of reading Disney, let's do freaking Outlander or something like that. So yeah, I'd love to see that. I'd love that. But doing one of those groups takes a lot of time and effort, and I just don't have the time. I work full time, so I know Vicky works full time too, but I'm too controlling, so I wouldn't be able to delegate some of the duties. Yeah. So if someone was thinking about starting a stitching group like that, let me know. I would love that. So what's on my reading docket at the moment? So right now I've finished the the Target book. This month was Mistress of All Evil. Sorry, since I touched my phone, it's gonna start giving me the notifications. So Mistress of All Evil, I do, like I said before, I do audiobooks, so I listened to that. That was actually a pretty decent one. I can do the villain series a lot easier than I can do the Kingdom Keeper series. Kingdom Keeper series really irks me. I listen to that at almost double speed because I can't. Harry Potter was written for children, but it was written such a way that adults can enjoy it. Kingdom Keepers was written for children, and it's not enjoyable for me. It's not enjoyable for me. But because I like to participate in the whole thing, it really pained me to not do some of the prompts in April because I got too busy. So I am currently listening to Out of the Silent Planet by C.S. Lewis. It's a nice science fiction story. I'm about halfway through, so it's interesting so far. It's a trilogy, so if I like the first book, I will continue with the trilogy until I finish that. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head what I have to read this month for, prompts. There were a list of words that we had to find books that either had it in the title or in the text. So the 4 words I chose were princess, so I have the Vatican Princess. The second word was queen, so I chose captive queen. And then my third word was raven, so I chose the Raven Tower. If you guys are interested in this part, let me know. I didn't think I was going to talk about it, so I didn't write notes. That's why I'm not telling you authors, but I can. I just have to get into. Alright, so Captive Queen is by Alison Weir. And let's see. I gotta wait for the library to load. The Vatican Princess is by C.W. Gortner. And then Raven Tower. I gotta go to the next one. I think. I have 3 libraries that I listen to. I borrow my audiobooks from. Let's go here. The Raven Tower is by Anne Leckie. And then my 4th word is dragon, and I am reading The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo by Stieg Larsson. I hope I said that right. Because I know it's not German, but if it follows the same convention, the second letter in the IE or EI combination would be what you are stress. So it's Stieg because E comes last. If it was the other way around, it would be Steig, but so it's Stieg Larsson, I think. But yeah, I've been wanting to read that for a while, and now I have a prompt that it fits perfectly. Now the other book that I have on my docket, because I'm finding that most months I go through the books and then I have a period of time before the next month starts, and there's no prompts for me to do per se. Last year it was nice because there was a list of 52 prompts for me to work on. You know, so get the monthlies done, and I'd work on that list. They did things a little differently this year, so now it's the Read It, Stitch It. So what I've done is I've started looking at the Read It, Stitch It prompts, finding ones that might be a little difficult to fit books into, and then I'm going and finding books to fit those specific prompts to read. So let's see, one of my monthly, so one of the Read It, Stitch It prompts that I got a book for. Sorry. If you guys like this, tell me. Not how I'm doing it, but the fact that I talk about the books. So then I can try to be a little bit more prepared. So I am going to read My Life in France by Julia Child for a story that happens in France. I'm going to read No Mercy, which is I think number 18 in the series by Sherilyn Kenyon for her Dark Hunter series, and for something that happens in New Orleans, because that whole series is pretty much based in New Orleans. And then I have a couple of books that I started looking towards stories that happen in Morocco, and that's when I got interrupted. So that's my next search, to find a book that happens in Morocco, so I can fill that prompt. I found a couple of books, but none of my libraries have them. So I recommended them, and we'll see what happens. Maybe they'll get them. If I don't find another book to fill the prompt, I can go to Audible and get it instead. But the one that I saw that I wanted to read is called The Henna Artist. So hopefully one of my libraries will get the book. So there's that. But I think that's everything I had planned on, and a little more planned on talking to you about tonight. So I think I have an idea for a video. I have to do a little prep work for it though. But I think you guys, some of you will probably enjoy it. So until next time, happy stitching, everybody, happy crafting, and stay safe.